So, according to the news, there is a G20 conference going on in Australia, and Russia was one of these 20 countries. G20. These G numbers, like you hear, maybe the G8, now G20. It has to do with how many nations, developing and strong economies, are showing up for it. Russia was one of the 20 countries going to this summit having to do with economics down in Australia. Well, lo and behold, there's some controversy because Russia deployed 4 warships to the northeastern corner of Australia. Now, still in international waters, but it was enough to where the Prime Minister of Australia, criticized the decision and more or less said that Putin, instead of concentrating on global economic issues, is instead trying to do some sort of a Russian glory play. I don't know, man. Couple things. I understand. I understand the criticism. However, I also understand the sovereignty of Russia and its decision. These ships are, in fact, in international waters, and I really don't know. I mean, obviously, four specific warships, in a way, is some sort of a weird statement. You know, the way that countries and leaders communicate. But to me, the problem I have with it, these things are 200 people die in some sort of an act of aggression. So we send 50,000 more to die because of those 200 people. It ends up magnifying perspective, and I think it's a shame. That was a real disconnected thought, but hopefully it makes sense. Russia's dealing with this whole issue with the Ukraine, and the news that I see about it, I mean, I'm not able to really get a full picture. Every bit of it is biased and slanted in some method, to the point where I don't even know which way is up. Putin, of all things, and I hate to say this, but Putin has actually said a couple of things that I agree with. In the case of the plane that was shot down, when he said the country that is responsible for this tragedy is the one that it occurred on. I mean, why is it different when Putin says something like that than when the United States says something like that with the war on terror? You know, any country that harbors terrorism, blah blah blah, is responsible for that terrorism. Is that not the same thing that he said there? But now, why somebody would go to an economic summit with warships? I mean, that's kind of his style, and and three Australian warships responded to monitor those 4 other ships. So obviously, Australia itself is telling them they're not no punk bitch, you know. And then you also have like United States forces within close proximity. So it's all in a way a joke. You know, those Russian warships, just in the area that they're at, you know, they're gonna have to go back by Okinawa on the way home. I mean, it's a long damn way home from Australia for those ships, if you know what I'm saying. So, but anyway, the point of the G20 conference is to increase global GDP by 3 trillion, which is kind of interesting, um, because you get GDP increased by, you know, consumer interest and labor production and things like that. So I don't know. I thought it was an interesting little thing, and figured I'd share some current events. Y'all take care, and we'll catch you on the next dose.